Everybody, welcome to another summer reading craft day. That's right, we've got another tutorial. This one's actually, it looks kind of silly right now, but it's going to be super cool when we're all done. Today we're going to make ourselves a stick bouquet. Yes, we can all buy ourselves flowers, but we can also make really cool things that are going to be pretty in the long run. All right, I will tell you this. This project will take a while because you're going to wind and wind and wind and wind and wind. And in fact, we're probably going to have some fast forwarding in here, okay? To make a stick bouquet, we have a couple of sticks, and I've got them all ready, covered in yarn, which is the hard part. Not physically, it just takes a little patience. Okay, so we're going to get started. I have a little two-pronged stick. Go in your yard, pick something out that you like. Originally, these sticks were very complicated and they had a lot of little branches. And I'll tell you what, don't do that to yourself, okay? It will test your sanity and not in the greatest way ever. All right, I am going to start with green. And that's the nice thing is you can pick any colors you want. This is a great way to get rid of your yarn scraps. Because, anybody who does knitting, crocheting, weaving, you probably have a lot of yarn just sitting around. This is one way to get rid of some of those ends. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tie a half knot, about an inch or so up from the bottom of my stick. I'm going to pull my tail so it lines up here, and then I'm going to wind. And it's not going to be very interesting, but it is kind of fun because you are covering your yarn, or you're covering your stick with yarn. You want to be sure that you're keeping your coils tight together. So I spend some time pulling them back down together, just like when we were weaving a couple years ago. Okay. I could have tied a whole knot. I chose not to. Not to. But it's up to you. If you want to tie a full knot, that is okay. I personally like the way this looks because it looks like it has no start and no finish. All right. This one's actually building pretty quick. So you'll see there's a little knot here in the wood. That's okay. We're going to come back and put a pom-pom on that later. So it's going to be more colorful and a lot more fun and slightly less irritating. Just because, winding can get a little dull. Maybe listen to a good audiobook. Maybe, well, no, definitely listen to a good audiobook. We have some really good ones if you like fiction, nonfiction, anything. Okay? Come on in and check them out. Literally and figuratively come in and look at them and then take them home and listen and enjoy because it is summer reading. And remember, every day that you read or listen to a book, you get you get a raffle ticket for one of the prizes, so you'll be entered in the drawing for our summer reading prizes. All right. Now, when I get to the end, I figured out I need about this much green. Next, we're going to do another color. So I'm going to clip this guy off. And I'm going to do the same thing I did at the beginning. I'm just going to loop this under here, like in a half knot, and pull it tight. That's going to hold it in place, okay? I don't need to tie it off right now because I'm getting ready to switch colors. Now, I could have knotted these yarns together. Oh no, where'd my end go? I had an end. There it is. I could have knotted them together and just kept winding, but we're coming up to a fork. And that's why I wanted to switch now while we've got a little bit of room to play with, okay? This tail is going to get wrapped around. It's going to get covered, okay? The longer your stick, the trickier it's going to be because as it moves out, it's going to get in your way when you're winding. Okay, just be patient. It'll all look super cool when you're done. All right, so I'm going to start this guy. The tail is going to be underneath my next loop. Okay. And I'm going to pull that tight, and I've got another tail. Now, we will come back My plan is I want this blue to go up about halfway here. I'm going to take it up this arm, okay? I'm going to take it up this way. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tie another knot down here and I'm going to take it up this way. So they'll both be blue. I could also come in here with a different color entirely and start this string on a different color journey. But I'm not ready for that yet. First, I need to continue to wind, and it does not matter if you're winding the same direction every time. Nobody's going to know because nobody's really going to be able to see. Okay, so I'm going to wind. Like I said, this is what takes a long time. This is winding. The forever winding. Yeah. And I'm going to check all my sides. This is a three-dimensional craft, so I want to be sure that all three of my dimensions on this stick are covered. When I get up here, I'm going to wrap this. This is the tricky part. So I don't want to just have stick showing here. Ooh, come over here, get out of my way. All right. So I'm going to wrap figure 8 around. This is the only drawback to this is it's hard to show because I've got to move the stick around. But see how we have some coverage in there, which is good. If you don't pull your yarn very tight, you'll be able to kind of floof it out a bit when you're all done. We can also stick pom-poms here and make them like little flower buds. I do one more this way, and then I'm going to continue on my journey up this side. Now, I like using variegated yarn. That means it's color changing. This one, the variegations are there, but they're kind of far away. So we're stuck in the middle of a light blue section, and that's all right. That means that when we come back over here, it might be dark. We'll see. I'm going to go about up to here. That's my plan. Okay. And see, I've got some breaks over here, so I'm going to go ahead and push those down with my thumbnail. If you do not have fingernails, you could probably use a nail file or one of those sticks that you use to push your cuticles down. I guess those are probably called cuticle sticks. I have no idea. And anytime you have one of these little guys, you've got a little notch. We could try to trim this off with the scissors. But what I'm going to do is come back and stick a pom-pom there to cover it up. That is where another branch would have come off of this if I hadn't trimmed it off. Yeah, if you guys can do one of the big branches with, 80 or 90 or, well, okay, probably like 9 or 10 little branches coming off of it, I will be super, super impressed, and I definitely want to see that. That was the original plan, and then I started winding, and I was like, wow, this is going to take 80 million years. Yes, hyperbole is a thing today. We're going to over-exaggerate. See how it's kind of a big gap? I'm not going to worry about that right now, okay? That is definitely a problem for pom-poms. We're going to have so many pom-poms. And hot glue. That's the other thing. We haven't played with hot glue for a while, so I'm kind of excited. Okay, so I'm going to keep winding. See, this is where that stick gets in the way. So you kind of have to use your patience. Keep breathing. And here in a moment, after I show you how to switch, how to restart a string, I'm going to have Miss Ashley fast forward. All right, we're getting about to that point. See how we're getting that nice variegation? I like this. I like it because then I don't have to change colors or strings as often, but we still get variety in our color. That's the first one I made. I had this really pretty orange, burgundy, pink, white, and I thought that looked really cool, and you can really see how that pattern works. And again, we're just decluttering. We're getting rid of yarn. We're getting rid of yarn that has never been used on a project. Because they do say buying craft supplies and using craft supplies are two very different hobbies. I personally love to buy craft supplies, but I'm not allowed to because I don't have any more storage space. All right, that's pretty good. Hopefully your scissors work better than that did. Okay. I'm going to pull this guy through, bring it in tight, and that'll hold it in place while I come back over here to work on this one. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Make a little loopy guy. Okay. And I'm snugging it down here so it won't be as obvious. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. And yeah, you're just going to have to practice and see what works best for your hands and your brain. And then I'm going to hide that tail underneath. I like having the tails tucked under. It gives it a little bit extra shape and makes it a little more visually interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and have Miss Ashley fast forward until we've finished. I'm going to have dark blue out here, so you'll get to see that. Okay, when we get to the end of our twig, give yourself a pretty long tail. We can trim it shorter later, okay? I'm going to go ahead and do that same pull through tie to hold this in place while I finish. When we're all done, I'll go ahead and wind this last little bit, and then we're going to stick a pom-pom on here that's going to both secure the string and decorate. Okay, a little bit fast forward. Here we go. Okay, so this is the time to turn on your hot glue gun and let it start to heat up. Okay, oops, this one doesn't want to, there we go. When you're selecting yarns, you do not want to use soft, expensive yarns for doing this, okay? You want cheap yarns that are stiffer. Like this is a cotton yarn, and you get kind of a nice visual texture. This is acrylic, and it's the perfect level of fuzzy and defined. So, okay. So once we have this, we're letting our hot glue gun get all warmed up. You get your sticks and your pom-poms. Now I have little tiny ones. I would say get some bigger pom-poms because they're gonna pop more. And just a variety of colors. There we go. I will not need all of these. Okay, that's all right. But this is the fun part because now we get to play with the hot glue gun. So I'm gonna take this, oops, tighten it, finish wrapping. And I can always come back and trim this off when we're done, okay? Do not burn your fingers. When I say hot glue gun, I actually mean warm glue gun. There is a difference in that the hot glue gun can give you second-degree burns, whereas this one, probably not. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue, and then I'm going to put this. Be careful. Yesterday, I almost glued my finger to one of these. Okay, so, see? Happens too easily. You can also put multiples around on this one. You see I have two on the end. If you've ever seen flowering plants, sometimes they will have multiple buds on one branch. Not that any of them ever grow pom-poms, but you know, okay. This one we will trim after the fact. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to put a nice blob. Oops, come back. Okay, that one escaped bombastically. Let's use words. Okay, stick that guy on, hold it for a second. Once it's completely set, I'll come back and trim this off. Okay. Then you remember this little notch. All right. This is why having larger pom-poms would be nice. And they have great pom-poms at the dollar store. They have them at Walmart. Oops. This one tried to make a friend. I don't want that there. And just anywhere the spirit moves you to put one, oh, put one. Any color, doesn't matter. Because the more colorful you make it, the cooler it's going to be in the long run. And yes, you are working in 3 dimensions. I know technically we're all working in 4 dimensions, but I don't want to get into physics today. Okay. Even this one that's probably going to be down in the base, I'm going to go ahead and put one on here. Just so I feel better about it. Oops. I like the way the glue looks with this. You could use E6000. You could use, well, I probably wouldn't use craft glue because that's going to take too long to dry. Sometimes it's nice to just bust out the hot glue gun. Let's see. Let's put one. Remember, the more you put on, the more colors you're going to have. And then we'll come back also at the end and pick up all the strings here. Okay. And let's see, we'll put one more here. I'm going to let this sit for a moment and set and move on to my next stick. Yes, I did one that's just a straight stick. And I still gave myself about 1 inch at the bottom. Then up at the top, I have this. Now, this one's probably going to take a couple of pom-poms to cover because that is a really thick stick. Do not burn your hand. I'm going to do it 3 on this one. So I'm going to do a brown. And I'm staying carefully away from my hand. And red. Oh, we might get 4 on here. Let's see, and a dark purple. Maybe we'll find an orange one too. Oops. This is why it helps to have fingernails when working with hot glue. Yeah, we'll do a 4th one. And number 4, we'll do a cream colored one. Okay. Does it look a little silly? That's okay. Because now, whoops. Guess we'll do 5. There we go. And then on this one, even though it's just a straight stick, it still had little branch knobs. So I'm going to cover those guys. I don't know what they're called. I know there's a better word than branch knobs. That's all I've got today, guys. Okay, and again, we're going to let this sit and cool, let all of our glue cool. Now you'll notice I'm not putting stuff on the bottom. You can, but the jar that I have for this is very tall, and I want to be sure that I have enough space that they won't get knocked off. Oh, I can't wait till you see this. Okay. Before I do this one, I'm going to come back and trim this guy as close to that as I possibly can. If I want, and I think I do, I'm going to give this little pom-pom on the end here friend. There. Why? I don't know. Because we all need little friends. We all need little pom-pom friends. And red from there. See, sometimes you come back and you're like, oh no, this needs more pom-poms. Yes. Yes, it does. And they need to be on all the sides. That one wasn't even attached. Fine. you can go. If you want to be attached, we'll help you out, bud. There you go. Okay. That rest. Don't knock your glue gun into your lap. It won't end well. Okay. And again, I've got these little stick guys, and these guys are going to get trimmed off as well. Now, when you're all done, now the reason you want to do a couple is because if they are all by themselves, they kind of look dorky. I'm not going to lie. The first one I did, I was like, oh, yay, it's finished. And then I looked at it and I was like, you need a friend. And that's why I ended up making a total of 4 of these myself. Remember to turn your hot glue gun off so you don't set things on fire. Oops, that one ran away. Let's do one more. And come on into the library and you'll be able to see the whole display of all of our pretty cool stick bouquets. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time.